Good evening, guys. It's Phil. It's our Leeds TV, and we are back with a very hopeful and big match preview. We're here to talk about what we expect will be Leeds United at home to Arsenal tomorrow at 5:30. There's still time for it not to be Leeds versus Arsenal at 5:30 tomorrow, but plenty to discuss as always. I'm joined by not just one beard face, but arguably two. We've got Martin Riley and obviously Mike. Mike, I don't actually know your second name. Do you want us to know it?
Yeah, Chard.
All right, okay. I just thought you want it top secret or something. Oh. Never know. How are we doing anyway this evening, Mike? Good to have you along with us again.
Yeah, I'm all good. You?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. No one ever asked me how I am. Martin, selfish man. Martin,
I know you're very sensitive at the moment with your downstairs areas, so I don't want to.
Yeah, there we go. Well done. Anyway, how are you tonight, Martin? God.
All right. I've recovered just about from the midweek things.
Yeah, I was hoping we weren't going to talk about that.
Yeah,
well, it has.
We'll skip past it.
Yeah, we'll say. I think that our viewers should know why we probably didn't want to say much about player ratings or anything like that. I get after it.
I don't feel a single ounce of guilt. If you were expecting a player ratings from any of us on Wednesday night, what a fucking moron you were. It was never coming. So, yeah, I don't feel bad for not putting one out. Hopefully we'll put one out this weekend. But a bit like the two times we've been to Old Trafford so far, I ain't coming on here after that shit. No, sorry. I did a fucking watch along for it. It was bad enough.
Yeah, that's true.
I had the first maybe hour of taking it all in good faith. 5-0 down, I was like, I was just laughing and joking. This isn't too bad. It's what I expected. It's fine. But then after about goal number 6, I started to go from Phil into Chris Kelly and started to get really annoyed. Like, no, stop it. But the point that Chris will make, which I very much stand by still to this point now, 5 is embarrassing. 6 is really embarrassing. 7's unforgivable, man. I don't give a shit who you are, who your manager is, who your players are, what your injury crisis is like. 7's unforgivable. I mean, we won't talk about it too long. We'll try and move on to Arsenal quite quickly because we don't want to spend all night talking about this. But have you forgiven and forgotten yet, Mike?
I tried to forget. Tried to forget, and then just something reminds me of it.
Oh, wow. It's like the ex that you just wish would fuck off.
Yeah,
we know. Martin,
yeah, well,
always forgiven and forgotten.
I haven't forgotten. I'll never forget. It's quite a hard thing to forget. Such a humbling defeat, to say the least. But I have forgiven them. We've seen much worse days, like when Sheffield Wednesday pumped 6 past us and Birmingham pumped 5 past us. So there's plenty of times which would be worse than losing against arguably the best team in the world at the moment.
You could argue Crawley was worse.
Exactly. We've had much lower points, and in the midst of the injury crisis and against a team as good as City, while no one wants that sort of performance, we should have done better and we could have done better, but it's been lower. Some more recent fans won't even know about these things that we're talking about, the other low points. But for me, I can forgive, and I'm hoping for a reaction tomorrow from whoever is left.
Martin, you've said the two hot words tonight, so I think I'm going to let you start. I heard you say the words injury crisis.
Yes.
Not quite sure what you're referring to, mate. If anyone's been living in Lapland like I have for the last 24 hours, has Bielsa not told us that everyone's fit? No.
No. Well, he came out and with news that actually everyone is dead.
Yes.
They're all dead. We're going to be playing a number of Leeds fans, I think, tomorrow. I think that I might be in the back.
I did throw my hat in here. They have said no.
Which you never know. Just get down to Ellen Road. You've got a good chance of playing tomorrow, I think.
Bring me boots.
But yeah, it's not good. after the press, the only new injury news from the press conference was Dan James. He's the newest one who was officially injured. But we have rumours of another two being out of the picture in Luke Ayling and Charlie Cresswell. It's still unconfirmed what is wrong with them both. Some are saying that Ayling has got COVID and Cresswell is injured. But I'm sure we'll find out in the next day or so, maybe before the game. At some point, Phil Hay might tell us and put us out of our misery. But yeah, it's not great. But
Mike,
it's what it is.
You encouraged by who is available, mate?
I don't even know what to say.
Let's get 𝐾𝐎𝐄 on.
I don't think I remember any premierships or any team with literally near enough their full 11/10 whatever players out
and still being forced to play.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the thing we've had all these other teams who have had 5 or 6 COVID cases, and they have the match abandoned, and these are teams who've got much bigger squad depth. Well, I'll say I don't even know what squad depth is now, but who have much bigger squads than what we do, and yeah, just because ours aren't COVID, it doesn't count. I'm not sure what really counts now, but yeah, we'll just have to get on with it, I think. And I think that's the way Bielsa would probably want it as well. Tell me if I'm wrong there, but I think he'd probably say if it was all the first team players out and it was all under-23s who were available, he'd still want to get on with it.
He just wants to play.
He just wants to play football, which fair play. But
to be fair, I think as much as we're going to pretend for the rest of the show that Tuesday didn't happen, considering Tuesday, I think the players that are available anyway will really want to get out there and just have anything. Even if you lose 1-0, they'll want that to be the last game rather than that being the last game.
Just get it out of the way as soon as possible.
Yeah, just get back out there and try and put it right. And obviously, if some of the players that were playing the other night, hopefully the majority will still be playing, they'll want to put that right themselves. So, feeling confident, Mike?
I think that they'll bounce back with a reaction. I think that, especially if some of the under-23s come in, that they will show what the team's missing and state their claim for it. In that sense, I think it will be ideal. I do believe
under the lights as well.
I do believe that when we get to our predicted team lineups, I think the front 4-5 will probably pick itself.
Yeah.
It's just the back line that we'll see whether or not they can step up.
Yeah. Don't worry, we'll have that fun game of trying to predict the lineup tomorrow. It'd probably be easier just to predict who's fucking fit, to be fair. I don't know which is harder.
Yeah, it's who knows? It's one day they're fit and 5 seconds later they're just not.
Before we go anywhere near that predicted lineup, Martin, do what you're good at. Tell us a little bit about Arsenal. I know form-wise, looking a lot better this season than they have in recent years. That is obviously without European football. I'm a little bit confused just from a little dig into their formations and stuff. I've always kind of just assumed it was a 4-2-3-1, but Transfer Market has it down as 4-4-2 for the vast majority of this season, which I haven't personally noticed, but they're playing 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, from what I've looked, FBref shows 4-2-3-1. They've also gone with a 4-3-3 on some games, so it's both those formations are very similar. So have
they got anyone out by any chance? Anyone?
Yeah, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is not.
Anyone else?
I don't know. That is the limit of my knowledge. As far as I know, all the rest of them are fit and available to play.
So they're all fine, and it's us lot that are all fucked, but we're still playing, you mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
So other than that, tell me things you know about Arsenal.
They've changed a lot under Arteta and they keep evolving each season. They've pretty much changed their full squad over the past few years to keep bringing in more players. Probably the only part which hasn't been touched is their strikers. Just Aubameyang and Lacazette have been there for a while now. They play quite a patient style at times, but they can get forward quickly when they need to. They do a lot of carrying out from the back, courtesy of a certain defender that we are all quite familiar of. Yep. And yeah, they've got a lot of talent in the squad. They've got a number of players who can hurt us. Martin Odegaard is one. Bukayo Saka is another. Their new right back, Tomiyasu. Is it Tomiyasu? He's also a very good player. He's been doing well for them. And I think they've got a new left back in Nuno Tavares, and he's also a player to be watched out from. So they've got a strong team, and that's why they are quite high at the table now.
The old Arsenal position of old.
Yeah, exactly. They're back in the Arsene Wenger preferred spot. Don't go any lower than that. Don't go any higher than that. That's where we want Arsenal to be. They have struggled with consistency at times, and most of the scorelines are quite low. They don't, or if they aren't low, they're quite close scorelines. Arteta likes to, when he gets a goal ahead, sort of sit back a bit and not go for the kill. Which after the midweek game, that will be a relief. Hopefully, we shouldn't see another high scoreline tomorrow. And I've probably just given
really good way to make us all feel better, Martin. It's fine. They'll go 1-0 in front, and then they'll just stay 1-0 in front. That's all we need.
Yes, but yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Although I think since it is at Ellen Road, there is a little bit of light there because no team comes to Ellen Road and plays a comfortable game, no matter who they are. He won't be as pressy as what we have seen last season, where they really did a number on us down in their ground. So hopefully we won't see as intense a press, and hopefully we can play some of our football. And that's me saying hoping. He could just decide to do the same as what he did last season and totally nullify us, and they scrape a 1-0 victory. But we'll see what happens.
So, Mike, after hearing all of that, is there anything you want to add on Arsenal? And on top of that, do you kind of think that the fans, anyway, the Ellen Road under the lights on a Saturday night, is that something that no matter what Arsenal team turns up tomorrow, and obviously the reaction from the other night, they're going to have a rocket? Or is it just Arsenal coming to get their dicks out and swing them around at Ellen Road like City did the other night?
It could go as I say every week, it could go one way. I do believe that they will give it a go for the first 5-10 minutes and then be shell-shocked by the crowd and the reaction. And I do think that it'll probably force them to change how they play, and it will frustrate them more.
Fingers crossed.
That's how I see it going.
I'd take that. I mean, realistically, the last home game I was there for, I didn't get to Brentford, but I was there for Palace, and that was, again, Ellen Road under the lights on an evening. And the absolute atmosphere for the first 10-15 minutes in particular was just mental. Like, the players fed off it, and it generally just sort of drove everyone on. It did seem to mellow out a little bit as the game wore on, and then picked up, obviously, towards the end. But I think this season, more than any season I can remember, bar maybe the season we got promoted from League One and maybe the -15 season, like the fans, the ability to... I've always said Leeds fans have got the ability to suck the ball into either net, because it can be a toxic place sometimes. We can suck the ball into our own net just as well as we can normally suck it into the other. But this season in particular, the home games, all the ones that I've been to, it's felt like at any given moment, if we are champions of Europe gets going and someone starts swinging a flag, within a couple of minutes, the entire stadium's rocking and you can basically just pull that ball into the back of the net. Happened at Wolves, happened at Palace, and obviously the last-minute equaliser at Brentford as well. I put a lot of the credit this season, not necessarily that there is much to dish out anyway, but if there is much to dish out, I think a lot's got to go to the fans and the atmosphere in the stadium, because obviously we've been out of it for such a long time now. And to get back and not witness what we could have witnessed if we were in there last season, which was an actually really good team playing really well. We've had to watch some really difficult games, but the fans have never actually turned, I don't think, as of yet. on the players and the manager during the game, which I think is obviously you saw that the other night. They were still singing at 7-0 down. So take a minute to just sort of applaud the fans, Mike. What do you think? Have you been? I know you live down south and you get to the games that you can get to, but from watching on telly, have you just sort of been in awe of the fans so far this season?
Yeah, you can hear them over the commentators most of the time. Like when it's proper rocking, like you said, European champions, that you can just hear. First 10 minutes is incredible.
The away games as well.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Chelsea the other night, I genuinely didn't hear the Chelsea fans all game.
No, I didn't either. I do think it will have a massive pull on the players.
Yeah.
And I do think they will step it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I think obviously we'll start with the lineup in a sec, but I think that they're going to need to find something from somewhere because the thing that killed us obviously the other night was the individual quality going man for man against a team like Man City, where individually they were all better than us. So as much as I don't think Arsenal are the greatest team in the world, I don't think they're even the fourth best team in the Premier League, despite the table at the moment. Individually, like they will have players on that pitch that are better than ours, and if we're going through the way we're going at the moment form-wise, then they are going to need a little pick-me-up from somewhere, and I think the fans kind of... It's a cliche, and normally I'd be like, bollocks, but especially if it's Arsenal fans going, 12th man, fuck off. Like, fair enough if it's, say, like Crystal Palace are meant to have a really good following. There's not many teams in the Premier League that can match us as fans for the way that they support the team, the way they actually inspire them. So, yeah, I think it's not cliche when you talk about Leeds United and the Leeds United fans and that famous atmosphere that Brentford were trying to say they didn't experience and then went, oh, shit, yeah, that was fair. Like, it is an atmosphere. If you come into Ellen Road as an away fan, you don't need to be frightened. Just enjoy it. It's a fucking experience that you won't get in your own shitty little tin pot stadiums. You agree, Mike? Yeah,
definitely. The Ellen Road crowds is definitely a 12th man for us, and other fans can mock that all they want, but we know it to be true. We know the way our fans can intimidate oppositions and galvanise our own players, and it has helped out. We've scored, I think, the most winners in the injury time, or at least equalising goals in injury time this season, which I think a chunk of those will have been probably at Ellen Road as well. So that just shows that even if he was playing for 100 minutes, there'd still be chanting 200 minutes a week. They'd be there for a week, just chanting non-stop.
Mate, if I could stay at Ellen Road for an entire week and make them stay on the pitch and play for a week, I would. We'd all be safer when you think about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Self-isolate together.
Exactly.
Anyway, moving back to the game. So, predicted lineup. We always rush through the goalkeeper because we think he hasn't got COVID. So Meslier starts in net, yeah?
Yeah, maybe bring back 𝐘𝐿 just for the shits of it.
Nah. This season would have been.
Yes.
Doesn't bear thinking about. So Martin, it's a back four?
Yeah, most likely, unless... So
give me your back four.
I'm going, we'll probably see Dramé, Llorente, and I think it will probably be Robin Koch rush back in the centre of defence. There's
a man that can recover from a broken fuse.
If Cresswell is out as well, I can't see us dipping lower than Cresswell on the 23s at centre back. And the only other option we've got is Leo Hjelde or Noah Kenner, and I can't see either of those suddenly making the step up. I'm not even sure if Hjelde's even made the bench yet before.
He has.
Has he made the bench?
On the bench at least once.
Okay, I must have missed that, but yeah, that's fine with me. But I can't see him playing, and I know Bielsa did talk about Koch, and I think we might see him, but we'll see. And then at left back, Dallas.
Mike, your back four, any Koch in it?
I do think it will be that. I don't want to see Cock because he'll literally probably go down within 5 minutes.
We saw that about Forshaw though, and
yeah, but he came on the other week and was previously after an injury, and he went off within 5-10 minutes.
He did, but that was a less serious injury from Cock. So
it's 1 minute.
I just personally think that if he gets rushed into it, he'll be back off injured.
So you don't want the Cock thrust in, no?
No.
Just checking.
Going in dry.
Exactly. So basically, if Ayling is out tomorrow, Dramé is seemingly everybody's only choice at right back.
Yeah.
Has played some Premier League minutes already this season. Was it Premier League? Was it in the Cup, Martin? It was something.
He played he came on as a substitute the other week, and he played in the Cup game against Arsenal. He did all right in that game.
Yeah. So yeah, he's already had minutes, I suppose. Perfectly fine fallback option. Cock, I do agree. All jokes aside, as hard as I do find that to do, to come back in. I know he's sort of compared him to Adam Forshaw at times and to Luke Ayling, and obviously Luke Ayling came straight back in and played 45 minutes. I don't know. I just don't. I don't think it's a wise idea, but obviously if Cresswell's out as well, then basically do have no option. So I think that back four that we've got flashed up there from Chris and the one that you guys have both said as well, to be honest, is the only option we have. I don't think I don't think there's anywhere else we can go. So what is happening in midfield, Martin? I'm going to ask you the most inappropriate time.
It will probably be Forshaw, Click, and Roberts.
So we're going 4-3-3.
Yeah, it'll be either 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, depending on what Arsenal play with, because obviously we'll match them up. But yeah, that's what.
So who did you go with?
Forshaw, Roberts in the attacking midfield, and Click.
Mike?
There's no one else really, is there? That's again who I would.
This would be so hard.
That's who I would pick.
Yeah, I must admit, when I think about it, there's literally no one else you could put anywhere. Oh,
you could have Bait.
Yeah, Bait.
Yeah, Chris Kelly does want Click to come out a little bit. So I think Bait has a chance of being on the bench tomorrow. But like you said, Chris, you know for a fact Click's starting because of simply the hierarchy and pecking order that Bielsa seems to have.
And Roberts will play as well.
Yeah.
Unless Roberts go up top and then you play Bates in the middle.
That's also a possibility. But I don't see it. I think it is most likely to be Forshaw, Click, and Roberts.
Yeah.
And then obviously the front three that we haven't mentioned, there's no point even trying to add any fucking suspense because there's only 3 players left in the Pistons squad that we haven't mentioned. So that's Rafinha on the right, Harrison on the left, and Tyler up front. Any advances? Oh, wait, no.
You'd be Gilhart.
Joffy, yeah.
So,
is there literally anyone else that could go in? Sam Greenwood.
Somerville?
What a good game. We'll try and name the bench next. That'll be fun.
Somerville, maybe?
Yeah, Somerville's an outside chance, but I think he's most likely to be on the bench if we need him.
So on the bench, is it? Do you get 9 subs now? Don't you?
Yeah, 9.
Yeah, 9 subs.
Right, this should be fun. So we know Christopher Class is one of them.
Yeah, so
I'll keep counting on my hands, lads. You go.
Right, I'll let Mike go first. Go, Mike.
Oh God! So Somerville.
Wait, 1 minute. We'll do this like it's an interactive quiz. So you go first, Mike. You name one player, then Martin names one, and then obviously we've already got Clarkson. There's 8 left. Whoever runs out first loses. Mike's turn.
So Somerville.
Martin.
Greenwood.
Gelder.
Who? What? Oh,
Gelder.
I've already fucking mentioned him. Cheating bastard. Mike. Martin.
Somerville.
I mentioned him.
We've said
he was the first one I said.
Pay attention.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. Noah Kenner.
Right, okay. Fucking hell, this is bleak. Mike.
Bates.
He's on the fucking screen, Martin. Get it off. He's just cheating. Right, Martin, your turn.
McKinstry.
Mike.
Oh, what's his? Oh fuck, what's his name again? Oh no, you just said him, didn't you? Did you say Alfie?
Did I say who?
Oh,
You
fucking
talking
what's
about
his
Alfie
name?
McAlmont, who's out on loan at Morecambe?
No, I've forgotten his name now.
Who are you on about?
Gray's kid or whatever it is.
Eddie Gray's grandson.
Yeah.
Archie Gray. Fine, you can have him. I mean, could happen. Martin.
Jack Jenkins.
See, we've got our full bench there. Nobody's mentioned Niall Huggins, and nobody's mentioned Liam McCarron, who will be on that bench.
Yeah,
because he always is for some reason. Won't get on, but
who'll be the 3 subs then?
That was my next question. You've done me. The only people I can imagine that come on, Somerville will come on. Maybe Greenwood, although he's not really been preferred this season. He had more minutes, I'd say, last season than he's had so far. McKinstry came on and obviously scored a penalty against Fulham in the Cup. And then McCarron, I think, has also come on once. So I'd say they're the 3 most likely to actually get off the bench. What do you think, Martin?
There's a possibility that Bate gets his first start. It's possible, depending on how the midfield's shaping up. And I think he's a chance, especially because there is an outside chance that he could take off Robin Koch at some point, just to preserve his fitness, and drop Forshaw back at centre back. I know.
Why would he take his cock off, Martin?
Well, he likes to move his cock in and out, Phil.
The old hokey cokey, yeah.
Exactly.
45-minute cameo.
All around. Nice. Yeah, exactly. So that's an outside chance. Forshaw could deputise at centre-back towards the end of the game if Koch is lagging a bit.
We've made more cock jokes tonight without Scotty or Oscar on a stream than we've ever made in the past. So there's clearly, we've got a dangerous trio going on here. Maybe this is wrong. So how do we feel about... apparently Niall Huggins is at Sunderland. Was that me or was that you, Martin? I don't know who said Huggins. I'm going to pretend it wasn't me if it was.
I didn't say Huggins. I think it was.
I know I didn't say it.
Yeah, probably me. Never mind. Cheers, James. Much appreciated, mate. Shut up. Anyway, how do we expect tomorrow to go? Are we feeling confident for a result? We've obviously spoken about how we think the game's going to go in terms of atmosphere-wise, but do you actually fancy us to win the game?
I think we have the ability to. If you look at the squad on paper, it's not that bad, really. Especially that some of the names on there can do damage. Rafinha especially can't ever be counted out. He alone can create something out of nothing. Joffrey Gelhardt as well. He has scored goals for not long ago, and he's always someone to think that he could also produce a magic moment like that. He's done it so often for the under 23s that I think he could be able to hurt them as well. I think we need to try to not let Arsenal press us as much, but if they do, we need to work better at getting out of it because it didn't go well for us last season when they did. So that's the big thing for me is if Arsenal do press as much as what they did last season, and if they do, we could struggle under that.
We've got all our best, least press resistant people on the pitch though, Martin. Surely they're all fit.
Well, we saw how well Diego Llorente played under pressure against Man City, so
I thought he was a standout performer.
Yes.
For City. So, Mike, what do you think, mate? Do you think we've got a chance of actually coming away with 3 points?
Realistically, I'm probably going to say draws more likely. Again, I think the first 20 minutes will probably not define it as such, but will be the catalyst of how it's going to go. I think if they score early, then it could be like a last-minute equaliser again. I don't see us getting beat. Just for the reaction part of it.
Yeah,
I would be inclined to agree. I don't see us. Touch wood. I don't see us losing the game just because I don't think any of them will fancy what's going to happen to their bums if they do. I just think they know they're going to get spanked and they don't want to be
Cop's back.
Exactly. that is exactly why that would happen. Anyway, I'm really struggling tonight. Right. Well, what we'll do is we'll do predictions, and then I think we should probably spend some time focusing on why the Premier League are a set of beeps. And I'm not going to get us demonetized by saying it, but there's we'll get into this. The Chelsea thing from last week, the FA fine. There's the fact that everyone else's fucking games are cancelled. We're getting into all that. That's next. So predictions. What do you think the score's going to be, Mike?
1-0.
And who scores for us? I don't care who scores for them.
Really, anybody. Probably Rafinha.
Yeah. Martin, any advance on 1-1 and Rafinha?
2-1.
2-1.
2-1. Rafinha and Koch.
I'll take that.
Powering one at the back.
How is he going to score? What method?
He's just going to hit it through with whatever he chooses to hit it with. Hopefully not. Hopefully maybe even his pubis is healed and he can power it at home with his pubis.
I remember the good old Opta days when the goal scoring methods were always left foot, right foot, head, other, pubis. So
yes.
pubis was always...
It's a well-known scoring method.
Yes.
Especially if you are 𝐿 𝐘𝐿.
Yes, very much so. Not sure we should be saying that. Anyway, I'm going to say Leeds are going to win. Very unsure now I've said it. Maybe I should go draw like Mike. No, we're going to win. Rafinha is going to score. But we can't keep a fucking clean sheet. That's never going to work. Wait, because we lost 7-0, we are going to keep a clean sheet. It's going to be 1-0, and it's going to be a really annoying and painful 90 minutes when fuck all happens in terms of goals, and then we'll get a penalty in stoppage time, and he'll do that thing where he stutters, and everyone thinks he's going to miss, but then he scores. Right. Why should we be pissed off with the Premier League, the FA, the rest of the fucking horrible wankery six that are up there? Why is the world such a fucking injustice, Mike? Why?
I don't know.
It's not a conspiracy. I'm not having this bollocks. I've said it to my missus, and she's like, "Do you ever think maybe it's not just happening to Leeds? It fucking is, isn't it?"
No, I do think they do have a bias against Leeds, and definitely for the top six. The fact that Man United had 1 or 2 confirmed cases and they closed their training ground and got a game called off, I think that is ridiculous. The Tottenham's had 2.
The other night were kind of like hinting towards the conversation about like priorities and preferential treatment with all the penalties and stuff that went the other way the other night.
All 4 of them. I think the top 4. So Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Man United, all winning goals were penalties.
Yeah. There's Martin, like you're a far more sensible man than me. Do you think I'm just being nuts? And I know I'm not alone here because not that Leeds United Twitter sphere is the place to verify your thoughts and make sure you're not mad. But, everyone on there is going on about it. Like, we are getting fucked over here, right? We've got literally a squad full of, 12-year-olds that are going to be on the bench tomorrow, and we still have to play. But Scum have basically got, Harry Maguire's a disability, and you can just use that as your excuse.
Yeah, there's definitely been some things which you can't... It's too often and for too long now that these little things and big things tend to go against us and other teams like us who aren't in the Super Six. The whole thing with the FA charge over us surrounding the referee. I mean, you can find pictures of Chelsea doing the exact same thing
with more players around
same game. obviously those sort of things, I think the FA charges usually go off. It's the referee who puts it in his report. Puts it in his report at the end of the game, and then anything that comes out of that gets charged. But the only thing I can think of is possibly that because the Chelsea incident was earlier in the game, it was fresher in his head because it was right at the end of the game, and then there was the fracas for the players after it. That's the only thing I can say to why he may have said, "Oh, yeah, the Leeds players were surrounding me. Yeah, fine them." But still, it's just not good enough because you need to look at the full events of the game and not just that one thing that happens. Yeah, but our players aren't meant to be surrounding the referee, but every single team in the country has players surrounding the referee when a penalty is being given or when a red card's about to be given. They always do it. It's not something which is unique to us, but it's unique that we have now been charged with it. And did any of you remember another incident where a team has been fined for that in the past 2 seasons?
Mate, we get fined for doing shit that ain't even legal. Remember?
Yeah, exactly. Standing on a pavement with the old binoculars. That's done worse for us. But yeah, there's so many penalties for the Big Six club last season. 2 in one game against us, and both of those could be classified as soft to a degree. There were by the rules of the game probably penalties, but there is still question marks over them, and that's 2 in one game. And we've seen so many of those incidents go against us in games. Dan James has had a couple just himself where he's clearly gone down on the contact and wasn't even looked at by VAR. But as soon as that happens, it's like a big long look when it's a Big Six side. So, and I think was it in the Liverpool game? I think Mike Dean wandered straight in front of the defence just as Trent is unleashing that. No keeper saving it, but he was still blocking some defenders. So he made me here or there, but I might be blathering on a bit now. But I can definitely see your point, Phil.
Good. The big talking point, then we'll get to it. We'll sort of draw a line under that and saying yes, the Football League was corrupt, and the Premier League is even more fucking corrupt. So, on to why the Premier League is corrupt and why the fuck we're still playing this game. If Bukayo Saka has got COVID, you can guarantee the game will be off because Arsenal may only need one player to go down with it. We need the entire squad. What do we think? I mean, not just on a Leeds United basis, guys, but on a general footballing calendar basis. For me, there's this meeting on Monday, isn't there, with the Premier League clubs that will gather together. And for me, I think our game on Saturday evening is, unless there's some on Sunday, I honestly don't know. I don't care about the rest of the teams in this division because they're all shite. But our game, for me, will be the last one. And then I think they can it. We'll obviously be rooting for that points per game outcome so that we stay up. Good lads. But what do you think? Can you see the season? I don't think they'll can the entire thing. I think we'll obviously have a bit of a break. But do you agree? Do you think this weekend's going to be the last for a little while? And will that break be a welcome break? Because I personally don't want to go get smashed by Liverpool anytime soon. Do you? Do you, Mike? Can you be honest? Would you rather they did us a favour and just said, have a few weeks off, lads?
I think they probably will do that, especially if the way it's going. It'll probably be the best thing, especially like Tottenham, Burnley, whoever going down with it, Scum. That it might be wise, but obviously we don't want to not play football.
Martin, what do you think, mate? Do you think it'll be called off for a little while?
I think it is a possibility. It's not a sure thing as yet. If it is a break, it'll be just a 2-week break, I'd imagine, and then back into it. The footballing calendar is so hectically filled at the moment, and any delays pushing games further forward, even if they go beyond this season, because there's the most pointless international fixtures in the coming summer, the Nations League, and that's quite a hectic calendar as it is. So that I don't think they'll want to, but it may get taken out of the hands a bit. But we'll see what happens. I think it's highly unfair. I mentioned it earlier that we can have this many players out injured. Which is, see, I know other teams have quite a few injuries, so some have nearly as many as us, but we have quite clearly more, and especially with a small squad. I know it is also falls on us a little bit to have a bigger squad, and there is fingers to point at Bielsa for having such a small squad, but he's had that small squad, and the whole time he's been with us, and this is the first time it's been as bad to key players as what it is now. But the COVID thing, it's just is what it is, and we'll have to see what happens. I think I would probably be in favour of having a couple of weeks off, and it would give our players a chance to recover, and we would be on a bit more of an even ground then.
I must point out, obviously, Chris, I know you put about there being a winter break. There is actually, technically, it's a shit one, but we do actually have kind of a winter break in this country, in that one set of fixtures will be played 1 week and then it'll be staggered, basically. Like, you will get a week off, but obviously to the extent of what like they get in Germany and stuff, no, we don't have anything like that. And obviously, as the guy afterwards said, there is the World Cup now in a year's time. In fact, it'll be coming to an end. I think it's the 19th to the 19th of November to December. So
yeah, something like that.
We'll be warming up for a World Cup final at a week before Christmas. Great. If they can the World Cup, I'd be really fucking happy, because I think there's no point holding it in Qatar, to be honest. But that's a talk for a different day. With the fixtures, mate, like, end of the day, they did it last time. And obviously we only got promoted because of it. They will. They couldn't help it. I don't think they'll give a shit, to be honest. I think the government, if we're going to go into a lockdown, for example, or if cases are spiking, and end of the day, we can't play. And if Jurgen Klopp is on Sky Sports News every 5 fucking minutes moaning and moaning and moaning, seems to get his fucking way with everything else he asks for. So if he moans enough, and Pep moans enough, and Tommy Tickle fucking moans enough, it will get canned. So look, they'll find a way to flog these poor players to death when they come back, and they'll have to pay like 6 games a week for the next fucking 3 months. But end of the day, like, if it has to go, it has to go. And I genuinely think that's what this meeting on Monday will be. I think this will be the last game, and we'll have a quiet shit Christmas with no Boxing Day fixture. And obviously last time it was March through till like May, June, was it, when football basically got called off for a bit?
Yeah,
a month or two, isn't it? 2 months.
Yeah. Ayling's volley was the back end of February or early March, and then I think it was good 2 months after that. It's a shame that it's happening this time of year, because obviously a lot of people, like I personally, associate this time of year with football, with Boxing Day games, and everything's on fucking Sky left, right, and centre, and you can get your dodgy box and watch whatever you want because you don't want to pay for Sky. This time of year without football on is going to be shit. Is it going to affect your Christmas, or are you just happy for Calvin Phillips to have 2 months out and not miss anything?
The fact that Bamford's out until January as well will help.
Cooper,
give us a bit of treat. Give us some.
Rodrigo, Strike. Just get them all back. I think what they should do, instead of listening to Klopp and his whinging, they should come to our training ground, ask Bielsa, right, when are all these fuckers back? Actually, there's no point, because he'll say 2 weeks and then they'll take 2 years anyway. But find out when Calvin's back. Just can it till then. Would that suit you, Martin? Just can it till Calvin's fit.
No, I'd miss football too much. As much as I want to say that, I couldn't. It's what I look forward to each week. Yeah, I love my kids, but yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, exactly. I would miss it too much. I wouldn't enjoy being over Christmas without football. It would feel like something was off and not quite right
and missing.
Yeah, exactly. It would. I mean, our football has depressed us enough this season, but I think probably without it would probably be a little bit worse. So Yeah, I don't want to see longer than a couple of weeks if necessary.
Yeah, I must admit, I kind of think it.
What if it's behind closed doors? Again, like no fans.
No, not again, man. Like, we've only just got back in, and judging off this season, like, could you imagine the fucking results without us in there? We'd all be fucking depressed. They'd have got nothing out of Wolves or Brentford. They need us, man. You can't take us away. We'll all break it anyway. It'll be fine. So, hypothetically, not so hypothetically, this is the last game before there's a break. More pressure on us to win it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it would be good to end on a good spell and then come back refreshed after a couple of weeks, knowing that we've just won the last one. But obviously, there's also arguments for if we get a win, that could motivate us to get more. So it's kind of, you can look at it both ways, really.
I don't think whatever the result is that we go to Anfield and get anything there other than absolutely fucking tonked. So if we were to win tomorrow, we'd go level on points with Everton in 14th, a good 8 points clear of Burnley, but they would obviously have 3 games in hand on us, which isn't the nicest feeling.
But are they going to win those though? Come on, it's Burnley.
No, I know. One of the games is Tottenham, and I think the other one's Watford. But even still, like, it just doesn't feel comfortable. I think we do need a win. A point would take us level on points anyway with Southampton, who are immediately above us, but still behind them on goal difference. So we'd just stay on 16th, and we'd have Watford 4 points behind us with 2 games in hand. Like, it, generally speaking, we need the teams around us to keep losing. It's that's a strange take. Do we think? I would have previously said perhaps, or like certain individuals, like Bamford, obviously, when he was shit hot last year. But no, I think this season the fans have kicked us on 2 results. I think we'd have struggled without them.
Yeah, I don't think the football on display is because the fans are back and because it's got worse because the fans are there. I don't see that. The fans, if, like you said before, they can sometimes suck a goal in at either end, and it's been more than that this season. It's not just the odd goal here and there. It's not, things haven't quite been clicking, and I don't think it is directly to the fans. Maybe a couple of individuals, but not the whole team. I think a lot more of the team thrive off the fans than feel pressure from them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the comments again. Sorry. Yeah, I'm aware of where we finished last season, and I know, Gail, I know you love going. I'm not questioning whether you like going or not. It's just, for me, obviously, I think at home this season, just at Ellen Road and the atmosphere that Ellen Road has produced with the fans in it, I think has kicked the players on 2 results. Whereas last season, Chris is obviously very right. We were better, but that I don't think that had anything to do with the fans not being in. I think for people's confidence, like Bamford, yeah, individuals, but the team performance, I just don't think it's clicking the same this season as it was last season. I don't think that's got anything really to do with the fans, but maybe I'm wrong.
Do you think it could be to do with pressure of the fans that might have something to do with it as well? Yeah,
Leeds have always been a pressure team, to be honest. Like, hopefully it changes, but looking back over the recent history of the club before, during and after Bielsa, it will be the same. We do have a tendency to bottle things under pressure. Playoff spring to mind, not just under Bielsa. I mean, we've never won a playoff final, have we? Ever? We've lost 4 of them now or something like that, or 4 semi-finals. Like, we basically bottle the playoffs every time. That's the most pressured situation you can get in English football.
Even under Monk when we came 7th.
Yeah, generally speaking, if you put pressure on us, then, and that's not something I attribute anyway to having fans in the stadium, and especially this season, the encouragement that the fans have shown anyway. So Any last bits from either of you guys? Anything you particularly want to discuss before we all go check our phones to make sure this game is actually still on and had a purpose?
No, there's not much else I can think of. Just get on with the game tomorrow, see what happens after it, and see if we have got a Christmas filled with football or being slightly depressed about there not being football.
Mike, nothing from you. You just want to go make some TikToks, don't you, mate?
I was still trying to download the videos from YouTube the other day.
Well,
my YouTube downloader's not working.
Hopefully, there will be plenty more content churning out over the weekend on that TikTok.
Yes,
I believe Tash will be doing fan cam tomorrow. I would be very surprised if she doesn't. Unless we get Tonk 7-0, we will hopefully be doing a player ratings on Sunday. Keep obviously tuned into the channel to see what other little bits are going to come out pre-match, post-match, but plenty to kick teeth into. I will lift this up just slightly so you can't see the baby, but I am again modeling the merch. I would show you more, but all you'll see is a baby. And as Chris is kindly telling everyone in the chat, we will all be A, going to the game tomorrow, and then B, going to fucking Pop World after, because Oscar insists. So if you want to stalk anybody, you know where to fucking find us. Cheers, Chris. Yeah, thank you guys. If you haven't already, as Oscar would say, smash the like and obviously subscribe. Yeah. And thank you for joining us. Enjoy the game. Thank you, Martin, and thank you, Mike. Off you fuck. Jesus. Right, don't cry now. Don't cry now.